Hello all, our today's ERQ is evaluate one evolutionary argument to explain one human behavior. It's very simple. Firstly, you need to take 2 to 4 supporting studies from biological approach, evolutionary chapter of course, because the key words are evolutionary and human behavior that are given in the question. So what you need to do is you need to evaluate. This is what our command term is. So I'm going to give you almost a ready-made ERQ in which you will evaluate, that is right, strengths and weaknesses of evolutionary argument. So let's learn how to write and what to write in this ERQ. So we start with the introduction, and this is what I write. Introduction, which is for 2 marks. So I write in my ERQ, an evolutionary argument that can explain human mating behavior is sexual selection. Evolution is the change over time in living organisms of heritable characteristics of a species. The theory of evolution states that by natural selection, organisms that adapt better to environmental changes are more likely to survive, reproduce, and thus pass on their genes. Sexual selection, a particular aspect of natural selection, states that in order to produce and protect the most healthy offspring, the perfect mating partner is found. Because the evolutionary argument states that the way humans find mating partners must be beneficial to human survival and reproduction, and thus an adaptive behavior. 3 studies that looked at the human mating behavior were Rone and von Hipper, Wittgenstein and Buss. So now what I have done here is I have given an introduction where I give the basic features of evolutionary argument, that what is it and what is the sexual selection process, survival of the fittest, and natural selection. So this is what I give a gist of the whole theory, and after that I also give what I'm going to write in my ERQ, what all studies I'm going to refer to. You have to mention that soon after the introduction is over. After that, I write the next paragraph, which goes like this. The aim of the study by Rone and von Hippel 2010 was to determine if males would take greater risks in the presence of an attractive female. To do this, the levels of testosterone were also tested. The researchers had a sample of young Australian male skateboarders that were recruited at skateboard parks. The study took place in the afternoon. They were assigned to one of 2 conditions, the male researcher condition and the female researcher condition. They were asked to do 2 different tricks 10 times each. One trick that was easy and the other difficult. Each attempt at the trick was marked as a success, an aborted attempt or a crash landing. To measure testosterone, saliva samples were collected. The researchers found that when the participants did their tricks in front of the female researcher, they took greater risk on the difficult tricks. They aborted tricks less and their testosterone levels were higher. From this study, it can be seen that testosterone may cause men to make greater physical risks when in the presence of a woman. This study may support evolutionary theory, as risk-taking is used as a sign for potential mates to show how the male is healthy and strong. In other words, he is able to produce and protect his offspring. A limitation of this study would be the ethical issues of deception, as the participants did not know they were being tested for the human mating behavior. It is possible that if they had known this was the case, they would be embarrassed. Now I'm done writing with one study, and I also wrote its strengths and weaknesses. I write another study now. Another study that looks at the evolutionary argument for the human mating behavior is by Wittgenstein 1995. The aim of the study was to see if women are attracted to men based on his MHC, major histocompatibility complex. The MHC is a group of proteins that let the immune system recognize different pathogens. It is argued that when the MHC genes of parents are diverse, the offspring will have a stronger immune system, and that the way we smell is a sign of our MHC. The researchers took a sample of female and male students, and each of their MHC was found. The men were asked to wear a t-shirt for 2 nights, have their everyday clothes and bedsheets washed in perfume-free detergents, and shower with perfume-free soap. After the 2 days, the women in the study were asked to rank the smell of 7 t-shirts, 3 of which contained t-shirts from men with similar MHC as the women, 3 that were different, and 1 that was unworn. They ranked the smell of intensity and sexiness on a scale of 0 to 10. The researchers found that the women scored with the t-shirt of a male with a different MHC than their own higher than when the MHC was similar. The study shows that MHC may influence human mate choice, which can support the argument of sexual selection as we are looking to produce the most healthy offspring. A strength of the study is that the variable of MHC was isolated completely. There were extensive measures taken to ensure that the only variable tested was the smell of MHC on the t-shirt. This means that the study was high internal validity. A limitation would be that while the variable was isolated, it is not a good representation of how a mate is found. Women do not go around smelling shirts in boxes. So this is the study that I have written here, and now I'm going to write the third study. The aim of Buzz 1989 was to support the idea that men look for fertile women and women look for men that can support their offspring. To do this, the researchers had a sample of 10,000 participants from 37 different cultures and gave them a questionnaire. They found that men thought youth was highly important in a mate, and for women, maturity and higher social status was important. This can show that men want to maximize the potential for fertilization, which can come from younger women. And women want to ensure the likelihood of reproduction and having a healthy offspring through financial help and resources that can come from a higher social status. The results of this study explain the human mating behavior as looking for the most optimal mating partner to reproduce a healthy offspring, which can be argued to be sexual selection. A strength of this study is the huge sample of 10,000. This can ensure more reliability in the findings. In addition, the study was cross-cultural. A limitation would be that it was in the form of questionnaire, meaning that the participants could have displayed demand characteristics in order to look better in front of the researchers. Now I write the last paragraph, that is the evaluation, and then I'm going to write the conclusion. So my argument for the ERQ is like this. The argument of sexual selection of the human mating behavior can be supported through the studies by Ronne and von Hipper, Wedkin, and Buzz. This evolutionary argument, however, does have its limitations. The evolutionary theory of sexual selection is based on the assumption that behaviors are genetically inherited. In actuality, it is not yet known to what extent human behaviors are actually inherited. In addition, it is hard to test human mating behavior as there may be cultural influences of different ways humans have learned to find mates. The sexual selection theory assumes that a sexual partner is found for the sole reason of reproducing. Researcher in this history also lacks psychological validity. As mentioned before with the study of Wedkin, it is highly unlikely a woman will find a mate through the act of smelling shirts and rating their smell. Also, the study by Buzz can be seen as lacking ecological validity as the participants were given questionnaires which may be more what the person thinks they would do rather than their actual behavior. Experiments in this theory may also cause researchers to be susceptible to confirmation bias as they see what they expect to see. An example of this would be in the study by Buzz, as its original aim was to support an already developed claim. A strength of this theory, however, would be its generalizability. Through these studies, it is clear that the sexual selection evolution argument can explain human mating behavior, as humans look for mates that will allow for reproduction and healthy offsprings. So here we are done with the ERQ. We have written the introduction, we have written the aim of the ERQ, that is usually for 2 to 3 lines, that which all supporting studies I'm going to talk about and which all evolutionary explanation I'm going to talk about. After that, I write the specific knowledge, what is that particular evolutionary explanation is about, and then I write a supporting study. After that, I gave strengths and weaknesses for both the supporting study, and last is your conclusion, which is again for 2 marks. So this is how I structure my answer, and this was just a sample answer for you to refer to. If you want to take it as it is, you can do that, or improvise according to your own choice, and you can write the ERQ. So if you liked my video, please do like, share and subscribe. And if you have any questions to ask, or if you need any more material, or you want me to give you another ERQ, you can please write in the comments below.